Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. And today I will be talking about EV taxis, known as e-taxis, idea in this presentation. And basically this idea is related to how we can use electric vehicle taxis in more effective way, or maybe we can have a separate application, mobile application for that, right? So that's the idea today I got for you. So why wait, let's dive into that. So I would like to name this presentation as e-taxis. In this presentation I will explain how to use e-taxis in an optimized way. So as the context, I would like to say first I will explain the problem, and then I will move on to the solution I thought of, and then I will move into the feature explaining, and then I will explain what kind of app configurations we can have, and then I will explain what kind of improvements that we can have in this application, and finally the conclusion. So moving forward, the problem. I was thinking about e-taxis and how we can use them in an effective way. Okay, all the facts, ideas expressed in this presentation are related to battery charging electric vehicles, precisely EVs, not swapping EVs. Okay, so basically everything will be related to charging, battery charging electric vehicles, not battery swapping electric vehicles. Okay, so as the bullet points, I would like to mention that I was thinking how to avoid or using effectively EV charging time in a trip. Okay, and then as a second point, EV station availability along the trip way. Okay, so that's a fact. I was thinking as well, and also I came up with this issue as well. It would be great to mention what kind of waiting time for particular charging. Okay, let's say better to have some custom configurations for the trip. Maybe maximum waiting time, maybe minimum waiting time. Who knows? We'll see. Okay. So I decided to think about points and express my ideas on those. Okay. So the solution, right? So what if we have a way that will use charging time as a part of the trip without affecting the trip? Okay. That will solve everything, right? So then I thought, unlike fuel stations, EV charging stations make more time based on the current technology, right? And yeah, so the next point would be, so my suggestions would be for the e-taxi app or option are following. Okay. If no charge is needed for an e-taxi, then we can use it as a default option for passenger, right? That is obvious. For a particular requested trip, if no charge is needed, then we can have it as it is, right? So next, the better to have an option to configure waiting time for a trip. Okay, that would be really helpful for a passenger and the driver as well, right? And then I thought of better to show current charge level for suggested e-taxis. So that will that will be helpful for the passenger. So it will make some confidence for that passenger. So that what I thought of that. So basically the goal should be minimize the delay or effect of charging time for the passenger, right? That's the ultimate goal of this idea. So moving forward, um, in feature explaining section, let's say if an e-taxi is suggested for the requested trip, it should show current battery level, okay, and also it should show minimum and maximum charging time to finish the trip, right? So yeah, and then it should show charger locations and the time or distance to those locations. So then the customer or passenger can have an idea what kind of uh, how far the nearest charging location is uh, situated, okay, or maybe what kind of how long will it take to go there. So that will be more helpful. So and then if EV station is near to a shopping center, then while taxi is charging, maybe passenger can have some shopping, right? Can do some shopping, obviously. That is just a suggestion. So next main point would be if the suggested e-taxi does not need to charge, then above points are not needed to show since trip has no effect on charging time. I explained it a bit earlier. So, but when it's come to suggesting this as an option for your trip or passenger's trip, then it would be better to have like this is an e-taxi label or something. So yeah, that's it. And moving forward, so basically in app configuration, this is high level idea regarding configuration stuff. So passengers should be able to showing toggle. I mean, passengers should be able to enable or disable showing minimum, maximum, and minimum charge time, or basically waiting time for a e-taxi suggestion. Okay, so and the next enable, disable, or toggle point would be toggle feature would be showing EV stations and distance time to those locations along the tripway. Okay, and the next feature, next configuration would be passengers should be able to toggle showing access to the current charge level. So I explained it earlier, like it will be more helpful or it will be a confidence for the passenger, right? So next and the final configuration would be showing whether e-taxi or not for suggested options. This is basically related to let's say for requested trip is not needed any charging requirement, then it will be just no need of charging along the your trip, along the passenger's trip. So then it would be helpful for showing the tax label. That's it. So and also the some kind of a diagram is shown in here. So basically this is kind of a navigation thing I just thought of. So maybe you can go to app settings and e-taxi settings and then toggle the above features, right? So that is just rough idea. Um, that's it for app configuration. So let's move on to the improvements. Okay, so if you are going for a long trip, then it is ideal to have rest houses with charging station nearby or with charging facility. So if you this is kind of a feature that we can have for longer trips, okay? So I mean that's where you book a taxi and take a long trip. So that's it. And as the sub point for that, I would like to say a feature for suggesting those locations along the trip way. Okay, so then user can have a good idea about where are the charging locations are situated. So yeah, and the next main point would be AI feature for suggesting the taxi options when you input following to the prompt. Okay, so basically the output can be any kind of a taxi, right? So you are not considering whether this is any taxi or not, you are just having a prompt. So basically these are the inputs that I thought of. So basically first one would be the pickup location and one or more destinations, and then obviously the waiting locations with time. So and then the
passenger count for the what kind of vehicle you want. So, and the last one would be your budget. Yeah. So the preference sequence is up to you. So yeah, that's it for the improvements. So conclusion.
So, as the conclusion, I would like to say that this idea is basically related to taxi applications, right? Probably for mobile applications. Okay. I hope that these ideas would trigger some new ideas for you as well, and then have your own flavors and then have it in your own way. Okay. So, yeah, good luck with implementing that. And also, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it and hope to see you in next video.